All right, this is Chris Rowe. Welcome to Sector Edge. We're putting out these videos hopefully every day, probably more like every few days for you. So please come back and visit this site. There's a couple things I want to show you right now about the sector relative strength matrix that's on our platform. Now, yesterday's video, listen, it was scripted. It was the first one. It was boring. So I'm going to go off script a lot more. I think you deserve better than yesterday's video. All right, so semiconductors are right there at the bottom. It's ranked number 39 out of 49 groups. 39 out of 49 groups. And yesterday's focus was NVIDIA. It's the bellwether of semiconductors, right? NVIDIA is the leader of the semiconductor sector. It has really been a leader of the stock market. And we've found that not only are semiconductors weak, but remember, those mega cap stocks, those trillion-dollar tech companies, none of them really looked great. Apple maybe stood out, but out of the magnificent seven stocks, they didn't look very good. Probably have a lot of reflections going on in his glasses. Semiconductor sector is ranked number 39. Why is that important? Because after an election, you watch very closely the relative strength of these 45 groups, and it tells you what's probably going to happen for the rest of the year. So we're kind of on sector watch. You can consider this entire first week kind of sector watch. The first day after the election really, really matters. The day after that, and banks were the strongest, all right? I'll reveal that. If you look at dead last right now is precious metals. The day after the election, right? So the first day that the election results flowed through to the stock market with behavior and real money and real risk, precious metals got bushwhacked. They got smashed. I don't think you want to be in precious metals right now. I mean, I would just get out. I know people that are only in precious metals. I know people that are 90%. I would at least cut that in half. Semiconductors ranked number 39. People are in love with that story. You can't pry their cold, dead hands off of that story, especially NVIDIA, right? Where it split 10 for 1 and it had all this excitement to it. I recommended NVIDIA like 30 multiples ago or something like that. I don't know if that makes any sense. I recommended NVIDIA, and then it traded up about 30 times since 2017. I wrote a big report on it, and I've constantly said to buy it since then. And when I wrote that report, I said buy it and hold it for the long term. So it'll probably 10 or 20x in this long report. I like it now. I still like it now. I think it should be a core holding, but don't rely on it. Let's talk about SoundHound. SoundHound is one stock that broke out. We love this stock. It broke out. I know a lot of people that sold it. They took profits. It looks like it's going to go higher. SOUN. NVIDIA took a very small stake in SoundHound. Pretty big for SoundHound, but pretty small for NVIDIA. Right? This is a rounding error for NVIDIA, a few million bucks. But just to have NVIDIA invest in you, it's kind of like having Mark Cuban invest in your company if you're on Shark Tank. It's just real vote of confidence. People like it. It's an AI company that you can basically use it to sound like a human being to manage customer service and stuff like that. And the fundamentals of the company are great. The earnings growth, the projections, the revenue growth, the projections, more and more funds buying it. SOUN is the place to be. I'm going to leave it at that for today. I got to get to this meeting. Thanks, everybody. This is Chris Rowe with Sector Edge.